Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Diplomacy, it is said, is the art of letting someone else have your way. Its success is measured by how one finds ways to influence others to align with their goals and interests as well as yours without making it explicit. If I had to exemplify this today, all I have to do is to tell you to read four-time Congress Member of Parliament Shashi Tharoor's opinion piece in a national daily. If you did not know who the author of this article, headlined Lessons from Operation Sindoor's Global Outreach, was, you would think it is a government brochure meant to advertise the NDA government's diplomacy. Because the man who 6 years ago said that NDA's foreign policy is by whim, not by design, is today writing glowing testimonials for Narendra Modi. In his almost 1,200-word long article, Tharoor has nothing but praise to offer for Prime Minister Modi and his tactic. Who would have thought that the words Prime Minister Narendra Modi's energy, dynamism and willingness to engage remains a prime asset for India on the global stage, but deserves greater backing, would come from someone who belongs to the party that has Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi at the helm. This is diplomacy at its finest, where critics become cheerleaders. The timing of this op-ed article is glaringly opportune, to say the least, because it comes just 2 days after chairperson of his party flayed the very same strategy. Sonia Gandhi also penned her opinion, slamming New Delhi's silence on the devastation in Gaza and the hostilities against Iran, calling it a disturbing departure from its moral and diplomatic traditions and calling it a surrender of values. But while Sonia Gandhi was trying to dictate how to conduct global dialogue, her party members were busy quoting movie dialogues, from scripting songs mocking Modi and chanting the surrender raga to mouthing lines from the film Sholay. They are doing it all to find loopholes in the way the government has dealt with the changing world scenario. Listen in.
पार्टी की एक सीमा है, पार्टी की एक मर्यादा है और हम ये उम्मीद करते हैं कि जितने भी कांग्रेस के जो सांसद हैं उनको अपनी मर्यादा, अपनी सीमा के अंदर रहना ज्यादा बेहतर होता। तो आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में एक एसेट बतलाना मैं समझता हूं कि कहीं से भी उचित नहीं था।
ಎಂದು ಮೋದಿ ಅವರು ಬಾಯಿ ಬಿಚ್ಚಿ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವರು ಹೇಳೋದು ಒಂದೇ, ನಾನು ವಿಶ್ವಗುರು ಇದ್ದೀನಿ।
गजा के बाद जहां इतने निर्दोष नागरिकों को मारा गया, गजा के बाद लगातार इजराइल बमबारी कर रहा, अलग अलग देशों पर बमबारी कर रहा, भारत चुप रहा। अमेरिका ने ईरान पर पूरी वायु शक्ति का अपना प्रदर्शन किया, भारत चुप रहा। भारत की चुप्पी भारत को कमजोर बनाती है।
तीसरा महायुद्ध भी हो सकता है। तो इस स्थिति पे, इस कगार पर हमारी भूमिका भी इस बारे में स्पष्ट होनी चाहिए। यही सोनिया जी ने कहा है। मैंने ये तो हो गया, शोले जैसा हो गया हमारी स्थिति। आधे शोले का पिक्चर था, आधे इधर जाओ, आधे उधर जाओ, बाकी मेरे पीछे आओ। तो पीछे मुड़ के देखा तो कोई नहीं था। तो यह स्थिति पर मत लाओ देश को।
This is not the first time that one sees the Congress leaders living in denial. Their experiments with truth, unlike those of Mahatma Gandhi, are increasingly about playing with falsehoods. But reality checks, like the one offered by Shashi Tharoor today, are like B2 bunker buster bombs. They find a way to penetrate through the lies perpetrated by them. Whether it is admitting that Modi is a prime asset for India who needs more backing, or correcting the Congress's narrative that Modi surrendered India's interest by agreeing to a ceasefire, the truth bombs have been busting Congress party almost as often as Israeli strikes on Iran. Just last week, its spokespersons were circulating a morphed image mocking Prime Minister at G7, but were called out very quickly. Then Jairam Ramesh was found waving a January readout from White House to contradict Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri. And Russia had to strike down Pawan Khera's endorsement of an article suggesting it had signed a multi-million deal with Pakistan. Supriya Srinath, who claimed India had abandoned its citizens in Iran, can speak to rescued Indian nationals who arrived in Delhi even today at 7:30 p.m. as part of Operation Sindhu. And this is not the first batch that has come back. And that, by the way, saw an embattled Iran opening its airspace as an exception for India. And you know how much of a joke it was made of when Ukraine and Russia did the same. Remember, such has been the propensity of Congress party to peddle lies that Ministry of External Affairs had to set up a fact-check handle just to sift truth from propaganda. It happened after Congress said that Saudi Arabia had denied visas to Indians. So is fakery Congress's only asset?
थरूर ने फिर से आईना दिखाया है और रियलिटी चेक दिया है राहुल गांधी को। राहुल गांधी आज भी झूठ फैला रहे हैं। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के बारे में कह रहे हैं कि सरेंडर है, छुटपुट है, फेलियर है। पर शशि थरूर जी ने एक आर्टिकल लिखकर कहा है कि किस प्रकार से ऑपरेशन सिंदूर का आउटरीच हो, हमारी फॉरेन पॉलिसी हो या मोदी जी की ऊर्जा हो, उनकी डिप्लोमेटिक एंगेजमेंट हो, ये एक प्राइम एसेट की तरह थी। पर राहुल गांधी तो पाकिस्तान के प्राइम एसेट की तरह बोलते हैं।
गैंडी है नाम मेरा, चोरी है काम मेरा, गैंडी है नाम मेरा, चोरी है काम मेरा। मैं देश का चुराऊं, मैं देश का चुराऊं, मैं कांग्रेस डुबाऊं, मैं चोरी चोरी चीन से नैना मिलाऊं, जो नैना मिलाऊं तो नैन चुराऊं। मजा आया? सच्चाई तो यही है, चीन से नैना मिलाओ, चोरी करो, कांग्रेस डुबाओ।
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the legitimate question, the Motorola legitimate question on the NewsHour tonight. With Tharoor hailing Prime Minister and his tactics, have Congress's experiments with truth been busted by its own? That's the question and that's the debate on the other side.
You're watching the NewsHour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Siddharth Yadav, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Senior Fellow at the IPCS, Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow at the ORF, both strategic affairs experts. Also joining the debate, Faizan Kidwai, National Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Professor Anwar Pasha, National Spokesperson of the RJD. But my first question goes to Sanjay Jha, author, Congress leader. And Sanjay Jha, what should I ask you? आज खुश तो बहुत होगे तुम कि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने आज शशि थरूर का आर्टिकल रीट्वीट किया है। खुश तो बहुत होगे तुम।
Navika, good evening. I think Mr. Modi, India's Prime Minister, retweeting Sashi's article is like a desperate man clutching at a straw. Anyone who's followed India's diplomatic disasters over the last couple of weeks will tell you that Mr. Modi happens to be, unfortunately, India's highest non-performing asset as we talk. Let's get down to the specifics and skip the rhetoric. Shashi is a great friend, so is Manish, and they made this overseas delegation trip, call it a jamboree or a carousel, whichever word appears appropriate. Guess what happened? Despite all the hype and the hoopla, I'll give you 5 instances of what happened while the trip was on. General Asim Munir has a luncheon with President Donald Trump. First time, an army chief, not an executive head of state, an army chief whom we blamed for triggering the Pahalgam massacre is having lunch with the President of the United States, who, by the way, did not deem it appropriate or respectful enough to meet Mr. Modi during the G7 summit at Alberta. Number 2, Pakistan becomes the UN Security Council vice chair for counter-terrorism. I mean, how can anybody, including Shashi, say that their trip was a success? It wasn't. Point number 3, Pakistan becomes the chair in the UN Security Council's Taliban Sanctions Committee. Point number 4, during the time when we should have been working our, shall we say, diplomatic engines all over the place, Pakistan gets an IMF loan. Number 5, Pakistan gets an ADB loan, the Asian Development Bank loan. And last but not the least, this government, which allowed Pakistan to get out of the Financial Action Task Force in October 2022, is merely continuing with this old rhetoric of saying that we have done everything that we could do. The truth, Navika, is this, that Donald Trump has repeated it 10 times, not just the ceasefire, that Pakistan is a reliable and a safe bet for US going forward. You even have that statement made by the US State Department that said that Pakistan has done a phenomenal job as a counter-terror partner of the United States. So let me ask this question of the BJP and its sympathizers on your show. If the United States, whom Mr. Modi said is an Ab Ki Baar Trump Sarkar kind of a government, is today openly backing Pakistan as its reliable instrument for Middle East policy or Afghanistan, whatever it may be, the truth is India stands diplomatically checkmated under the
Well,
most
Sanjay
incompetent
Jha,
government
I've
regime.
indulged you for 4 minutes because I thought at some point, you would have a reality check and you would make sense. I'm surprised. I've always put your intelligence above the average congressman's intelligence, but alas, today, wasted opportunity.